Great. Thank you, Matt. Okay. Hi, everyone. Happy to see you. Yeah, I'm Nicola, as Matt was saying, and the idea for today is to learn together a few principles on how to design agentic systems. We'll see what I mean with agentic systems. So this will be hopefully interactive workshop. More than a workshop, I like it to be a discovery session that we do together and work on your actual use cases. So what I sent beforehand was just this PDF to write down a few details on your use cases. So something concrete that you want to automate or start to do with AI, experiment with for yourself or for maybe for clients, something like that, okay? Because I want them to use that base to work on your use cases and go through it. Okay, so what is this about? Is an exercise just to brainstorm a bit on something you want to work on with AI to avoid going into the workflow with AI, start to tinkering with AI without having a clear idea beforehand, because otherwise AI will drive you wherever it wants. What are the details that I want you to think about here? It's okay, think about the specific use case and start to fill in the blanks, right? So the first one is just to name it. Then below, if you scroll down, you can see there are three examples. So first one is to name it. Think about what triggers this workflow, what happens when something comes in and what comes out. Then what's the problem with this use case, why you want to do something with it, and maybe with AI, what's broken or slow about it. Then think about the value. What would you gain if this process ran more automatically? Then quickly list 3 to 5 main steps of the process. And then let's think about the risk of this. So if AI hallucinate, do something wrong, what's the risk, right? If it is clients facing or not, or if something, I don't know, that has some other concerns. Success, how would you measure if AI is doing a good job? And then open field, let's say, for your general hesitation or something. Maybe you've tried and was not working, or you're worried about your data or something else. So you can, as you're doing, maybe start to fill in just a few details on each of those. Let me know if there are any doubts or something.
Would you recommend the use case to be something necessarily repetitive, or it can be something that we want to just develop or not? Because for my case, for example, I want to try code my website that doesn't look like lovable.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So later we'll see what is better for what, but yeah, ideally something more repeatable, repetitive. Yeah. For what I want to talk about today is more that use case, because the other one would be one-off and super specific for the website. So maybe think about something repetitive, recurring.
Cool. I was trying to think last night something related to when you launch an app and a product, you need to do some marketing to get a new user. And this is something that I'm not used to. I mean, it's not my domain. So I need AI and agents to help me to do that. So, but my concern is a lot of time AI agents are blocking social media to work. So I don't know how to
Okay, yeah, but those are like specific doubts or things about a step in a potential workflow, like accessing the social media to post it automatically. So don't worry about that now, but just in this case, even if it's something that you're not familiar with yet, think about some steps that you might need to do, right? So that's fine as a use case. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something general. I mean, the action is general. It can be an application, could be a website, can be a product.
Yeah, but the what you would do to market it, it's something similar, right? I mean, you would think about content, different formats from where I take the information, so you can write those kind of steps.
One question.
Yeah.
In my case, what I was trying to build is like, let's say, an agent which is going to teach someone to something. So I give it like a document and it's going to share the knowledge to the person, like a guide or like a onboarding type of person.
Yeah.
Because if not, like I have to do it every time.
That's a good use case. Yeah.
So how do I explain it here? Like in...
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Where do you struggle to? So name it. A tool to help people learn something or teach them something.
I put like when a new person is added to a database, it triggers the agent to design a knowledge sharing or training plan for the new person based on the knowledge base it has. The outcome will be a training plan led and guided by the agent for the new person.
Yeah.
Like put that entire thing in the...
Oh, no, I mean, you can put it here so that you have it here. But here, I mean, just come up with a name, like knowledge-based tool for students, something like that. Make sense? Yeah, okay. Let's see your use cases. You're doing good in the sense that they are quite clear and specific, which is good. I see that most people are writing multiple ones, which is great. So I guess we can get started, or go on with now do something with it, right? So the idea is that you might have different or many ideas because AI can do many things. You see things online, you try, etc., etc. So one difficult part that I see when I help people is to choose the right thing or the something suitable to implement with AI. So we'll try to classify your use cases based on the classic, maybe you've seen it, matrix impact effort, right? So now using what you wrote before as a guideline, think about different aspects, starting with what you have written. Think about these aspects of each use case. So is it valuable and how much it might cost to implement? So does it have a potential ROI? How simple and repeatable it is? And what's the risk tolerance? So what you have brought in the what happens if something goes wrong, and how measurable it is. So is it something that you can measure success to know when AI is doing a good job, right? So what they will look like. This is quite like intuitive, but if it has more potential ROI, it will have more impact. So it will move up in this matrix. If it is repeatable and simple, it will require less effort to implement and maintain. If it have more risk, it will require more effort, right? When I think risk of something going wrong with AI, and then measurable, we can say that the more is measurable, like with less subjective, and we can measure results, and the less effort we'll require to implement and maintain. So now you have ideally in mind 3 use cases, and it might be difficult to think about, okay, how much effort, where do I put it? I don't know anything yet. So place one use case in some, with your intuition, and then place the other 2 comparing to the first one. So it's easier to, make it relative. Okay. So think about it for 2 minutes, and then we'll work together on some use cases to see how to go from here. Yeah, as someone is doing, you can move the stickers, the post-its.
Where are we seeing them?
Yeah, where you think it could go in the impact effort. Yeah. For now, just use your intuition, and I get it. It's difficult to evaluate one use case, cost, etc. But maybe compared to another one, which is just local, internal, doesn't need much data, you will see that is less effort. So just compare 2 use cases if you have those. And then now we can discuss on the specific things. I mean, this is the goal of today. The axes are how much impact positive, right? How much positive impact it will bring to our business, and effort, how much effort it will be to implement it. So those are the axes. And here I was saying, okay, from what you have written before, so you were thinking about value, cost, the steps, the risk, how it is measurable. This more ROI, it will mean more impact, right? So it's just, if it is simpler, slightly less effort, is more risk, more effort, and measurable the opposite. So just to move in the space somehow.
When you say effort,
Yeah.
who for? Me that I don't know what the hell I'm doing, or for you as an expert?
Yeah, that's a good point, right? And depending on how complicated it is, it can be something that you develop internally, or that you need to pay someone to do it. So if you have an idea that you have the skills to do it, it will be less effort. But if you need to pay someone else, it's more effort, right? So instead of something that you can maybe do in a few weeks, you need to contract someone. So you need to plan it, find the right person, etc. So definitely more effort. Okay, so let's keep moving. And with what you have brainstormed a bit right now, and your experience, and what you have tried, etc. If I say that roughly these are the 5 main steps that I use when I work on a use case for myself or for a client, let's see what those are, like from high level to more specific. I like to start with evaluate if it is a use case for AI, something like this, and then of course more in detail. Then I will break down the process into as much as possible clear and controllable steps for humans or for AI. And then I will think about the architecture, let's say, of how the solution might look like. So the complexity and autonomy I want to give AI. And then when I have this workflow, this series of steps, I will think about, okay, these are my building blocks. How do I do each step? And then I will create some evals or some way to evaluate the results systematically, right? And this more than steps, I mean linear steps, is often a circle, right? So I will go back and evaluate if it is a good use case for AI, maybe change how I do a certain step. So to sum it up, like these are 5 steps we can talk about today. And now I want you to tell me, as with your gut feeling, where do you feel you need more help, or you might struggle more. So the first one is just try to evaluate if it is a good case for AI. Then I take the AI black box and try to break down into controllable steps for the process. Then I think about different level of complexity that I can use with AI to set it up. And I think about my building blocks, what I have, software, tools, AI calls for each step that they want to do, and then how to evaluate the system. Yeah, Giacomo?
For me, the last one, especially the fourth, are, it's something that I should need out.
Okay.
Especially find software or things that I can run for free, and now because if I need to pay 20 euro for each step, is more. I don't know if it will be useful.
Yeah.
Before I want to start to pay the process, I want to try to be free if it is scalable.
Okay, so to know which tools you can use to accomplish things. Okay, good. What the other things? Where do you think you would need more help, or you would want to work on?
For me, it's second and fourth. The fourth, I'm not clear what exactly it means. Like, are you talking about like what component you have in the code itself? Like, is that what you mean by building block? I do not understand.
Yeah, that's fair.
The second part is difficult because maybe I know the work, but like to put it into like, let's say like simple workflow so that like the AI can understand it. I think that's a bit difficult sometimes because when you think about it, you think in detail, no? So this seems like a lot of things, and then to like only figure out from there like the key ones that needs to be, highlighted or like designed. That seems a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, I think that happens often. I don't know if maybe you've tried to just riff with AI, talk with it, and tell it, okay, build me this app or build me this idea, and then you just go on with the conversation, and you lose control of what actually happening, right? Something like that, because you have this idea, but you're not sure how to make how to give the proper instruction to AI to accomplish it.
Exactly. So it ends up like you're like going like back and forth like too much, just to make sure that it becomes like it goes towards where you want it to go.
Yeah.
So I think that becomes a bit of a challenge to put things like clearly, like in steps.
Right. Okay. Someone else feels kind of the same?
Yeah. I have other problems too.
Yeah. What do you think, Peter?
It's a three, clearly, and I see through the eyes of my business partner that is an engineer and sees clearly how to push more the limits and how to, I don't know, I can call an API or you can do this and that, and I just see what I have to do, but I don't have like the imagination, like technically talking, like I can do that, I can connect that, and I can improve those three, I don't know, call to the APIs, I said, like that. And it is clearly like that.
Yeah.
And I want to risk what's in that kind of.
Nice, that makes sense. Like what I mean when I say AI complexity, and later on we can go like more into details. There are different approaches that you can use. Also with building blocks, I mean both the actual building blocks of AI, in the sense there is the AI model which will just respond to you once, then you can get memory to it, and then you can add tools, and then you can connect data from other software. And then now maybe everyone has heard about Cloud Code, so you can create harness around it and let it do more things. So those are like basic building blocks of the AI. And then there are approaches that you can insert AI into. So something more linear or something different. That later we can go talk about it. Yeah. Someone else has some ideas, thoughts? Which one? 3 and 4.
But
Yeah.
those things is because we are talking about system. When I think in my case, that I want to sponsor, find leads, find user for my product, my application. If I automatize other things, I'm not controlling if I can burn even possible client, possible user. So start when the AI start and finish, and when the human control and check and say, okay, this
Right.
is far.
Yeah.
It's something that
Yeah. That's
is similar in this.
yeah. That's something that we can go into now. It's when you break down this step and you decide each step where can AI do it autonomously, where we need quality control from a human, or a human just need to do it. Also because, you were saying, okay, maybe I'm doing something wrong with leads and clients. So that will be the risk of what you're doing. So you need to, just think about it, measure it, and then, depend on it, iterate. Now let's try to break down your process into steps so that we can decide how to implement each step. So basically, this is just thinking about what you have written at the beginning, from input and output. So something that is not that useful would just be, okay, I have a customer ticket coming in, I pass the information to the AI model and say, resolve the ticket. Okay, this sounds silly, right? But sometimes we tend to do that at the beginning because AI can do anything, almost look like. We can just say, for an example, write a blog post and about X topic, and the AI will give us the blog post, right? But it won't be that good. So the idea is that you break down those main steps and think about how you would do it as a human, right? For example, what you were saying before, to create resources for students, right? Or to package knowledge for them. How would you do it if you do it yourself, right?
Yeah, so what I put in the steps was like, first of all, we need to know the person, like what's, so in this case, like what's their level, right? And then the second would be like, depending on what their levels are, you decide what kind of topic you start with.
Okay.
And then you provide whatever access the person needs in order to access those materials, let's say. Then you would schedule calls, like sessions with them for presentation and all that. And then lastly, like have feedback from them. That is what I created.
Okay.
It covers everything.
No, it's fine. But
I just try to simplify.
Yeah, from there, now that's fine at the beginning, right? Now you can think more more specifically, right? So if you say, where can I write it? Here, maybe. For example, you said that you choose a topic, right?
Yeah, like first get the person's information to understand, like what level they are, let's say, and then based on that you choose the topic.
Okay.
And then I put like providing access to the person for like any required tools.
Okay, that's something. Okay, that's fine.
And then I put like scheduling like presentation or like sessions with the person.
So share access. That's fine. The idea is that this is fine. I mean, all those are things.
Share access.
Yeah, sorry.
That would be the actual sessions where you would be like doing the knowledge.
Wait, let me see if I. How do I erase this? Oh, this one. What did you say?
Like the actual knowledge sessions would be then. Like the actual, like class
So they will have an interactive session with the knowledge. Mm-hmm.
Or like whoever.
Okay, so here it would then you would have a session with the student. Okay. So yeah, session.
And then like a feedback that will like go to the person or like about their experience, let's say.
So ask for feedback.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a good starting point if we are something around here for your use cases, right? And now you need to break down these steps on, because as a person you would do some things subconsciously, right? So for example, how do you choose a topic, right? You need to think about instructions that you would think about yourself, because you need to explain the AI how to choose a topic, right?
So for example, maybe there could be like different, let's say, themes, no? Maybe there's mathematics, there's biology, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So depending on what the person's background is and what they're interested in, then you give the topic, right?
Yeah. So you need data on the background of the person, right? You need some themes they showed interest in. Okay, and you can go on with this if you have other like ideas. So you need to collect data from here, from the previous steps somewhere, right? And then you need to write
Like the knowledge base for the instruction to, let's say, match, no? Like the person's information, and then based on that also like what are our
right. So this would be here like like our internal knowledge, right? And then instructions, I would say, on how to choose a topic, right? How to match students with our offer. Okay, and then you can think about if this is quite crucial, right? At the beginning. So in this case, you would likely need to iterate on this to see the how good are what the AI picks, right?
Yeah. So one idea is like, let's say you have a model in there.
Yeah.
It's like doing the choosing based on like, let's say it's clustering the topics, and then it's like matching things. Maybe that could be one way. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So here, for example, here we are just like writing inputs, and then you need to choose, okay, this process, how can we do it, right? So we can do it in three ways. We can do it with normal code, right, which is reliable, deterministic, etc. Or we can use an AI whenever code is not enough because it's too nuanced, etc. Or if AI is not good enough at that task, a human should do it, right? So if just to think about it, if you would do this with code traditionally, people were doing that, right? We got recommendation of all sorts of things, but it's limited, right, to what you can deterministically write. So you would just match it based on rules, right? So I'm just trying to make you think of what's the difference between using code for a step like this or using an LLM, because whenever you can avoid using an LLM is good to avoid it and use just normal code. But in this case, for example, you could do this matching quite rigid, right? You can use some rules. If the person has this background and wants to learn about these topics, I will recommend these three things, and it will be always the same.
Yeah, write a code, that means the code will be super big, let's say.
That's right. That's the issue, and that's the beauty of using a model that understands the meaning, right, of words, right? So, yeah.
You just mentioned avoiding LLMs.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain why?
Yeah, because they are not that reliable depending on the use case. Of course, now it's there are so many things you can do around it to make it more deterministic, and for that I was also stressing the point of breaking it down into clear steps, right? Because if you just don't think about this and just take the person information and do the teaching. You could do it, right? If you go in ChatGPT and say, teach me something based on my background and my pick of themes I want to learn about, right? But it will be not deterministic at all. You don't have control in it, so it's fine for yourself, whatever. But if we are now thinking about something that goes into my business, and I need to be reliable, controllable, etc., you need to break it down into steps so that you can control what's going on, and you can then improve it, right? So, and why avoid LLMs? Because of that, because they are more expensive, of course, than normal code. They are not deterministic per se. So it's always adding more complexity, right?
At cost. Right?
At cost, yeah.
Maybe a middle step between full code and versus LLM.
Mm-hmm.
Can we even use machine learning? That is more. I mean, if you need to do some semantic
Mm-hmm.
words, if you just apply machine learning, it's more reliable.
Yeah, but depending on the skills that you have or who you need to contract, and depending on the test case, I mean, traditionally, you would do something like this with machine learning, but you need to train a model on your specific things, so it would be a long process. And the advantage for something like this, which involves only text, so meaning of inside the text, it's the best place where to use generative AI, right? Because you can customize it based on your use cases. You can give it knowledge, you can give it access to your data, you can give it custom instructions, and you will like fine tune it, which is not technically correct to say fine tuning, but just to give an idea. So it's much it's less expensive than doing a full machine learning training.
Yeah, when you say fine tuning means that.
No, I'm not. Yeah, that's, I know. Maybe fine tuning is confusing. I'm just saying. Yeah, exactly. But that doesn't matter where it is. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about that. You manage the context around AI. So maybe you have heard, right, context engineering. So that's really the most important part when you make a call to an AI model. Because here we are just passing data. And here, if we decide that here we use AI, we just adding context inside the call to the AI model. And that's what personalize the answer that it will give you. Okay. I'm curious to know what other people are thinking about your specific use cases. Someone wants to, yeah, go on. Mm-hmm.
I have a project with a renovation company.
With a, sorry?
Renovation
company. Mm-hmm.
And that is about, they spend so much time building the budget of the client. Imagine a client that wants to renovate his house.
Okay, what's your name, sorry? Victor, okay. So you were saying that this client is spending so much time creating the budget proposal.
For the renovation, then the renovation company has to send them their, let's say, their products, and then the client chooses if he wants a type of wood, a type of lightning, whatever. So the back and forth of information is really complicated, and when the client already sends the information, then the company has to set up the information and make a costume budget for this client. So they spend really long time creating this budget, and so I want to automatize this loop and try to make it simpler with different, let's say, approaches, but I'm not sure how to really create it. And as you were speaking, I don't know if AI in this case could be less reliable to create a budget, but I would feed the information about cost structures and margins, and then the, let's say, structural information about what the client wants.
Yeah. So where do you think it's more likely to make mistakes, or where do you think about what you've said, this process? Where do you think is the critical point?
The critical point is on being accurate on the final budget, which requires a comparison between the cost structures of the company and the needs of the client.
Okay. So now what you can think about is similar to before, just going with simple iterations. Talk with the client, or if you know it already, how a person would do it, right? So you just go into detail there, because they will have some internal knowledge, let's say, because they are doing it every day. But try to think about, again, where they take the data. What's the important data to make a decision, right? And there you can think about where you need to get that data from some internal database or policy, internal documents, etc. So you need to think about that, and then think about the instructions of, okay, I have this client request, and I have this internal knowledge about what we offer, our prices, etc., etc. And there, how would you? Have you tried to ask AI to do that in some form, or not yet?
Yet, but not as complicated as it would be in a real case, I think.
Okay, because what did you give? What did you give as input?
As input, I gave a JSON with the information of myself trying to refurbish my kitchen.
Okay, so you gave the client request, right? And then what else did you give?
I gave it's an approach of how could be a, let's say, Excel table, which is converted into a CSV or a JSON file with the structure of cost, the units of the kitchen itself, and then I send it to an LLM that converts this information and creates a report with the key information of what is the budget, what is divided, how much it costs, this.
So it creates the proposal, let's say, or the offer for the client. Okay, so this is a starting point, right? But many things can happen here, right? Yeah. So now let's try to think about how can I reduce uncertainty. What can you do if you just have the client request and the internal information and the instructions? How would you go about to reduce the variability of possible answer?
So it would be by giving the instructions on how to create the comparison between those those two information,
Mm-hmm.
and then giving information about how to write the report proposal and how to double check it. To make sure that the information that we are giving is right. In an initial phase, I would send this report before sending to the client, to the company, so that they can review it.
Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, that's part of it. But for example, before trying to think about how a person would do it, right? Before you said as it's normal that there is a lot of back and forth, right? So what's the goal of that back and forth? To clarify this client request, right? So you could think about a step at the beginning where you try as much as possible to clarify this client request, right? So how could you do it?
I have thought about some things, but initially I will do it through a form that's implemented into the same product that needs the information in a certain way, so that the ingest into the LLM could be much clearer and not a mess.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I've thought further, which it would be much expensive and difficult. It would be creating a voice agent that speaks with the client and ingest information by doing the right questions.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, that's good. If we think about this step, like clarify request, we have different options, right? As use code in the sense that you would just take the form and then from what you got in the form, just put it into the next step. Or we could use AI here as well. This is something that you would need to check, do some trials depending on how complex is the client typical request, how complex is the products that the company sell, all sorts of variables. In some cases, just simple products. If it is a service, it might be more complicated. So it might make sense to use AI to clarify those things, right? So let's say that you have a more specific request. So the idea here is then to think about each step. So if you get this information, you would need to bring in data from the company, right? And so you need to think about where you connect and how you take that into the context. So here would be connect with internal data. And then what you said before, right? You can start to create a first draft of the proposal. So there you also have different options, right? You could do something with a template, which is kind of always similar, following some rules, or depending on the case, you can use AI there to be more nuanced, right?
The idea that I had is that the cost structure should be in a dashboard, which has like a structure that cannot be done in the way that the client wants, but in a way that it already has the structure that the LLM needs to understand the JSON properly.
Why do you think about a dashboard? In which sense?
I think about it because the company needs a place where they have the information about the request of their projects that they're doing. It's something that they requested the client.
Oh, so they want to see the different client requests, etc. Okay, that's something on top. Here, the idea we are just thinking about the process that goes on in the backend. So that's something else you would need to think about how to show it, but that's doesn't affect what's going on. But of course, that might be useful if then you want to have quality control, someone going in and say yes, no, and at any point you could add, like a human in the loop. How is it called, right?
But that's all the difficult part.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, this was just the idea to how to think about the steps, and maybe now I'll see what do you think, but we can now with these ideas check some how did you call it before, some architectures on how to use AI. I mean, it's just saying that that's a solution to host your automation or your process.
Instead of on your computer, which...
I mean, instead of using, if you do it locally, you could do it locally on your computer, but it was saying, for example, with NA10, if you do it on the cloud, you need just to pay the subscription to NA10. So that's just some technical details on where do you host this thing, etc. Right?
Yeah, I think for me that's like because I'm not a coder.
Yeah.
I don't build things with code or think about architecture ever.
Yeah.
So for me, when I hear these things, I'm like, what does that actually mean? Like how, sometimes difficult to visualize that unless you've done.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of details are more technical on how to set it up.
Yeah.
And you need to deal with that at some point. But here are the kind of principles I want to talk about today, as we don't have that much time, right? Is more on the, how the information flows, how you can use AI in different ways, because that's the trickiest part. The rest is just technology that you can either pay more or less, etc. Right? Okay. So let's see if I have it here or someone else has wanted to talk about their use case. Okay. Yeah. So let's talk about the, this is what was there before. Let's talk about this step 3 and 4 from before, I guess. Yes, I will. Okay. So AI is one building block. How can we use it at different level of complexity? So just to, as a starting point, maybe some things are obvious or not, but I'll just go through them. So the most basic level of using an LLM and AI call through API or through just interface with the chat or through the terminal, etc., is just to have an augmented LLM. This is just the most basic thing. You just send a request to the LLM with some information, and you got a reply. Okay, so in some cases that might be enough, right? But just a basic step. Then the second step, instead of the second level, let's say, instead of just having one call, is to have prompt chaining and or a routing. So this would be, instead of having just one call, I create a workflow, right? So I have one call to an LLM that do one thing, and that output from that call will go to the next step. So it's like sequential, right? So this is still straightforward in a way. This, we could call it like a glorified automation, where I use AI in certain steps, and in other steps I can use just code. So this can be more useful, of course, than an LLM. just a single call. And then I can do things like routing, right? So I have an AI call that gives me an output, and based on that output, I go into different directions, right? So yeah, maybe these are like basic or intuitive concepts, but they're still working like really well in most cases where you don't need to overcomplicate things, right? Because if you do it like this, you have control, right? This is an almost deterministic, almost 100%, let's say, deterministic workflow, let's say. So this is good when you know what are your inputs and what output you want and what are the steps, and they are repeatable, because here there is not much variability. I use AI, I don't know, to evaluate or categorize a ticket, for example. Categorize something, and then based on the category, I go here and do certain things or other. This is, so far, it's intuitive, right? Any doubts? No? Okay. So this is good because it's still deterministic, or almost deterministic. Then the third step or third level is to have an LLM with tools. Who knows, or what's your idea when I say that to use an LLM with tools? What's the first thing that you, or what an example you think about? What? Might be, yeah. But the classical example of using a tool. Yeah, true as well. Yeah, that will be a tool. Mm-hmm.
Gmail or maybe in Slack, they can become like tools for the LLM.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, those are also connections for, Victor was saying, connecting it with MCP or with other forms now that we have to connect. And yeah. So connecting to different kind of software, right? And then I was just thinking about it when this is being around for some time, right? And the classic thing is just to have the web search. When we moved, maybe already 1.5, 2 years ago, from just AI doing something there inside its box, when we give it access to tools, the most common, the first one that we were using is have a web search tool, because the idea is that from here, I'm using the training of the AI model, but I need to give it more information, right, to make it useful, so I can connect with Gmail, with our messages, or with the web. So this is the idea. That now it's getting more and more common, right, to use an LLM with tools. So I can still use, or I will still use a process like this, but when I have AI, I will give it access to tools and always instructions. So what's the difference here? That it becomes less, it's more useful depending on the case, and less deterministic, right? Because I just give an AI, I call the AI model inside my workflow, I give a prompt, right, with my instructions that will say something like, okay, you will receive this kind of data and you need to produce this kind of output. To do that, you have access to these tools, or you have connection to this this software. So there you see the difference here is that AI has more autonomy to make a decision, right? Because it can decide if it will or not use a tool. Yeah. And then I can, as maybe most of you have seen, right? I can make here things as much complicated as I want. I can connect different tools, different data sources, and I give it instructions to how to use these tools or these MCP connections, but I leave the AI to decide in which order to use them, how to use them, depending on the case. So I increase the, the variability of the output. So far, all of you have tried to build something using one of these approaches. Yeah?
Because the website would be like a web scraping and without saying which websites you wanted to search for. So in the case of looking for prospects, for example, it would be just search for clients that have these characteristics and then give it back.
Yeah.
Something like that. And then could you put as well blocks of code within those chains? Of
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So what you were saying is that you want to find leads, right? Okay. And you need to classify them and see what you find and classify them, right? Okay. So in that case, you can go it in different ways, right? The more specific you can be, the better results you can get. So because if you just do a broad web search, you don't get that much quality results, right? So
for the context of this, for example, it would be there's information that is always the same in the sense that the company information, what you're looking for, the clients that the product matches with, etc. Those are the context of this. But then what it finds as a potential leads, that also is an input for the next
step.
Which is the software that you use for looking for leads? Because for example, in Play, you can use just a formula to...
Yeah, so I'm using Lusha, and it's fine. But I want to automate the process of generating draft emails and then tracking what's the process of
so you want to automate the steps that comes after getting information about leads? So
getting the leads and then generating the draft emails and then track.
Yeah, I mean, there depends on how you want to go about it. If you try different tools, or you can build it with no code, some workflows, and you can try with it. I mean, in that space, there are many tools, right? And there are different apps like to create no-code workflows. So there, it's depending what fits for you, right? And if you want to build it yourself, or you want to invest in something more complex for some specific need. So it depends on how good the results you're getting are.
Personalize the email, or for example, if you have 3 categories of leads, so let's say tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and then you want to send like kind of similar emails to each tier, or you need to do like 100% super tailored and etc.
I think tiers is fine. It's just the risk would be to sound to AI.
To not sound like AI.
Yeah. So if now I'm go on.
I would say that would be better for you to like draft the emails and then like put some personalization with some fields if you want to. And like for example, I like doing that with Clay formulas because it's much simpler, it's free in Clay to use, you don't need to connect API or anything, and it gets like well written because you wrote. When I try to connect like for example Perplexity to write the emails for me, content was shit. Pardon my French.
Yeah, and why you think that happened? What's the main difference between those two approaches?
Because AI is bad in writing. Like, let's face it, I hear everyone says no, because it depends, you can personalize, you put your inputs, you make sound like you, and so on and so forth. I don't see one person that writes something and you cannot get it. That's it.
Even if you feed it with your emails, so like with a sample of your emails.
I mean, this is like a big topic everyone talks about, right? And it's really about your feeling. And yeah, of course, it might be, or it's almost always easy to spot AI. But that would be more in the field, okay, I decided I want to take the risk, let's say, to send automated emails because of many reasons. I don't know, I don't have time for that, or volume, whatever. You decide to try with it. And so there you can improve the output with some strategies, right? Some of this is useful for that, but in that case, it's more about the prompt, the context, how you set up the specific instructions. So it's more detailed on, okay, I have this input and this output. But from what we can get from what I was saying before, you can improve it by try to think about what you would do, what kind of information you would pull, and then the difficult part, as she was saying, is that it sounds like you, and that there are different techniques. Like it's better to give more examples of your writing, to give certain rules, but it won't like feel like you. You know what I mean? But about this, it's let's try at least to give it as much information as possible, to give some specific instructions and to give it context. Yeah. But if the question was, how do I take that results from whatever software and how do I put it into a system? Yeah, you could do an export from there or connect it with the API, depending on if it allows or not, and then go on through the different steps, calling information from where you need.
I tried this approach now on the third to like connect an API of Perplexity to Play as well, or like enriching the company, like finding information and etc. But it hallucinated a lot and gave me a lot of like wrong. I might have messed up in the prompt because, or I don't know, it was bad.
I think that happens because now I'll come because you connecting in that way. If you don't have a clear idea of what's going on, you lose control pretty quickly because you use Perplexity and maybe you don't have you don't see exactly what data goes through. So because you say that at the end was a mess, right? It was not what you expected.
Yeah, it was not accurate, like the information that they were bringing. Do you have any types of suggestions of constraints or anything that I could use in my prompt to guarantee that they don't hallucinate or don't bring wrong information?
I mean, right now, I'm not sure we should look at what you have done specifically, because right now the tools for web search are quite accurate. So it depends what happened there. But the idea is that I mean, I know that then it depends on where you're comfortable with, right? But if if you can get as close as possible to the API call or the seeing the output of every step, you can start to learn more about it and see what's happening. Because I get the frustration of how you were working in that way, because it's a black box. You connect these two things, you expect an output, give some instruction, and the output is not what you expect. But you can, using other approaches, to actually see what goes in and out. And also, you can try each one of the steps that you want to do inside Claude or ChatGPT, and use the chat interface, give it the input that you would give in the other system that you have, right? Using this Perplexity and Clay, give there the input for a search and see what it replies. So just break down the steps there, do it manually, so you see how it responds, when it gets wrong. Yeah.
Sometimes I use ChatGPT for prompting. I can use those. Hey ChatGPT, I need to compare top 10 credit cards in Europe versus the US. Please help me with my prompt for Claude and give me some good structure. I don't know how many metrics do I want to. Just give me some good suggestion. And it was a huge prompt. I can do it myself, so I can check it. That's good. Okay, and then I copy it from ChatGPT and put to Claude. For me, it works.
Similar to that now that, you can go to Cloud platform or Anthropic platform, not directly to Cloud.ai, to the platform. And there you can do what you were saying. You can create automatically prompts with the description. So that's really useful, because there you can experiment, because it will create a good prompt for you with variables, so that you can then easily put in different inputs and see the output. Yeah. So that's when I want to do a quick test, I always go there on OpenAI platform, because there you have more control. Yeah. Okay, let me check. What time is it? We have half an hour more. So if you don't mind, wanted to just get to the other two levels to give you an overview. So the fourth step, the fourth level, what would you say it is? More complex than, more complex than this, what we have seen coming up and end of last year. What do you think is the next step? What?
Work with agent.
Okay, what do you mean?
I didn't use it, but I've heard about that you can put some AI agent and he can fix everything.
Okay.
You just watch it.
Okay. So what tools have you heard? Yeah, Cloud Code and Cowork.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, those are. They have this. Yeah, they call it harness, and is what started with mainly with Cloud Code, right? And what's the difference between using a call to an AI model with tools and using an harness, using Cloud Code? What do you think is what have you seen, or what do you think is the difference?
Autonomy.
Yeah.
As in the
And
full autonomy.
Why it has more autonomy, or how? Yeah. Okay.
I think you can control for sure. Yeah. Then you're using Cloud Code, you can control exactly what's going on, and you can
control more things, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like what's the main difference?
Okay, you can make some, I would say, custom settings, I would guess, more stuff like that, for example. So I think it would be more customizable solution, customizable solution, rather than simple plug into using plug and play tool.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, it's true that it's more custom in the sense that you can do pretty much anything with it, in the sense that it's flexible, because it's flexible and it has access to we can say, to the terminal, right? So, and not only, but the difference is that here I give it access to specific tools, and here I allow it to do everything that I could do, or that traditional code can do inside my computer.
You
we
have to
can
set
say
it up once, right?
Yeah, you have.
So you connect everything once,
Mhm.
and after that, it then makes the decision about where it goes and what it takes,
Yeah.
and where it moves, and
I mean, when you install it, let's say, is quite quick and straightforward. You just install it from. No, but it's no worries. No. What I mean to say is that at the beginning, you don't connect it to things. You know, you just install it, and it will have some default access through your terminal, and it can do things on your machine. What it can read files, edit files, delete files, and do other things, right? And then you can start to give it more capabilities, right? That's what you were saying, you can customize it. And then I think that later, after this, Matt will do a session on cloud co-work. So I guess he will talk about some of these things. So there you can edit more skills and things, which is basically just telling Claude how to do certain things for you. But yeah, I will just one second. The main difference here is that here I gave it like full autonomy, right? In the sense that I have no specific idea of what the outcome will be, because it can do, let's say, anything, right? So it not only give me an output, it can run code, write code, and create outputs, use them in a loop. So it's a lot of difference here. Yeah.
So when you work for someone, when you do project for first party, you usually use now cloud code?
No.
Or you use?
Oh, what do you mean? If I use it myself to develop, or?
I'm using cloud code and cloud AI as a chat.
Yeah, as a chat. Mm-hmm.
But to be honest, cloud code I use just when I need to do front end.
Mm-hmm.
But if I need to build a project in general, I'm using cloud AI because in the chat I can drop image. I mean, for me it's more easy in the chat to visualize things and have a lot of confrontation.
Mm.
In cloud code, first of all, because it's in terminal, I don't like. I mean.
Yeah, I got it. Normal.
I don't know if I'm wrong to do that. I mean, maybe it's better that everything's run in cloud AI. But for example, it was needed to set up Oracle.
Mm-hmm.
In cloud code, you can drop. I mean, everything is more. You can paste the image.
Mm.
In AI, you can do
In the
all
chat.
stuff. So I don't know what is the best workflow.
Yeah, it depends on what you need to do and how you want to work, but it's not true that you cannot paste images in cloud code. Yeah, you can. But so it's a big difference on how you decide to work. And just to make sure that this is clear, here is more, I want to create a system to accomplish something, and I can do this thing. But here I could use what's behind below Cloud Code to also create a system that uses that. I mean, there is a way, Cloud SDK, I think it's the name. You can create, let's say, your own version of Cloud Code to accomplish something. So that's one thing. Now, what you were saying is, how do I work with it, right? So depending on how you want to experiment with, here it won't give many. Yeah.
Summarize here. So the first part, the augmented LLM, I can think of it as like it's just something that can do one task, let's say.
That will just give you an answer.
Okay, yeah.
One question, one answer, or one input, one output.
The second one, I can understand it as like it has the ability to like have the context of previous conversations and based on that give you like different answers.
It can be, yeah. Here I was more stressing the point of chaining multiple requests to create a workflow.
Chaining multiple requests in this case, like I'm just thinking about from the point of the chat.
Okay.
So would that mean like different chat boxes that we've had and like having all of them combined, or do you mean like in the same chat? If we had like different, let's say, conversations like from 1 week back and then now happening.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I mean it's not quite the same, but here would be more like multiple separate chats, right? But it's nuanced in the sense that, for example, when I build a workflow like this and I use code at some point, AI at some other point, you were talking about memory. I always, you set up the system in a way that it will always have the context. So we can say the memory of the whole conversation, but it's stretching a bit the comparison. So what you're talking about, the different chats is, it's more about how do we manage the memory of the conversation with AI and with ChatGPT, etc. So you can keep different conversation separate. But this is more thinking about a system. Does it make sense?
Like the second part, I'm not very clear on.
Okay.
That part, I understand. It's like you have a chatbot and you're giving it tools so that like it can execute like a particular action or like particular task. And the fourth one goes into where it has like more access, like access to your local computer.
Yeah.
In a sense, entirely. So you can build whatever in your computer, or like if you give it access to cloud, like it can build whatever in there. So if I understand it that way, it summarizes it.
Yeah. And this one is nothing fancy or complicated. Is what we were doing here about your use case is that second one.
Okay. So because here like we have these multiple
steps,
and each of them is different. So it's not like one agent. It's not like multiple coming together.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you can give in different steps different instructions, and if you want to call it agent, fine. But they are separate. Yeah. Okay, great. So someone else was saying something, or we are good with? We were just to don't leave it there in how you can work with Cloud Code or something like that. It's different from using it on the cloud with Cloud AI from the chat interface. Because you work with the AI as your co-worker, we can say that it's always there. So how I do work for myself, or what I need to do, everything, I just work inside a folder in my computer, and this is like a code editor, an IDE, and here I can call the terminal, open the terminal and work with Cloud Code. It can create all sorts of things. And the main benefit or why I like to work in this way is that it has access to everything that I'm looking at. So I don't need to upload files, make things, and then download whatever. I'm just here in my documents folder in my laptop, and I just do work. I can do work myself, create a presentation, write a file, I can do it myself, and then say to Claude, hey, pick it up from there. And it just, you're working with it together on something, and you don't need to worry about uploading there or what if it has access to or not. It's just that you are doing work, whatever you need to do, and you can ask an AI agent at any point to do almost anything.
Yeah, and now I have my cloud AI is the mining project, and in that project I have some memory. It's set up there. And maybe I need to pass to cloud.
I mean, you can try. It's fun to try.
But sometimes I feel with cloud code I lose control to the things. And with cloud AI, I'm doing stuff. Maybe it's a little bit slower, but if I need to build a product and I need to do some stuff, I prefer to have all the control about where the key, where the security. I mean, sometimes I feel that I lose some control and with the other one because I need to do some stuff that I know where there are the things and I know where.
I mean, I would say you have more control on where are the things with Cloud Code because you are in your environment. You can see the files there. You can tag the files and say, take this one, take that one, do this, do that. But I get it that at the beginning it's a bit, it's different. But also just, later again, Matt will talk about it in the next session. So you can, but also you don't need to work right from the terminal. From the Cloud app, you now have the chat that is Cloud AI. You have the co-work and you have Cloud Code. So they are moving so fast, so it's easy to get confused. But there are different ways now to use it. For maybe here, it's less, confusing. And if someone of you, if you're more used to use the regular chat, co-work is a good step in between, because when you work with it, you have it will give you here what it's working on. Yeah, for example, here I was preparing the presentation for today, and I was using it through co-work. Yeah. Okay, and just to not leave this unfinished, the fifth step, which is much more complicated, would be to have multi-agents. But this is maybe not something we need to worry about it for now. I mean, it's for different use cases when you need to keep things separate and you want to have full autonomous agents that work in parallel. But that adds a lot of complexity. So there, if you don't know what you're doing, you definitely lose control.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
How do you decide how you do the move to multi-agent? Like, because, for example, for me, what I'm trying to do is for content, and like I have one kind of brain doing the different parts.
Yeah.
But then I'm wondering, when does it make sense to actually create like just one brain dedicated to one thing and another brain dedicated to part of that workflow, or just keep the same brain but split it up into, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So your use case is creating content for different platforms or for different. Okay. So there, I know that the word agents and is everything a bit confusing. So, but what what you would need is more ear. You don't need multi-agents or complicate things to write content with different scopes and stuff. There are simpler things that you can do, and is again going back to the basics here, to what are the steps. And in your case, I get you prepare like different instructions, I guess, right? You were saying different brains.
Yeah, I guess my question is just more like, how do you know when you can use, just have one brain or one LLM model, or when you would need to do, when does multi-agent make sense? I follow people on socials and you see people doing all these crazy things. And here, and it's really crazy. So I'm like, when do you
follow
Yeah. Okay, but it's a fair point, and again, maybe she's right. Don't follow. I mean, don't fall for the complexity. No, that's I have it too. We all have it at different bubbles.
Doing content, I'm trying to build apps, so I'm thinking, when would it make sense for me to actually go?
Yeah. I would say that to create content, which is basically just taking an idea with some context and repurpose it, right? You can work with something like this, in the sense that you create one set of instructions, one AI, that can be, we can call it a router or an orchestrator, something like that, to give you an idea. An orchestrator. And what will the orchestrator do? It can, if we go specific to, okay, I want to create one piece of content. So I will have some instructions to take a topic, and do sequential steps. For example, the first step could be to write an outline. To write an outline of topics or chapters, depending on how long it is. And then here I can spin up multiple instructions. We don't need necessarily to think about this as agents. It's just a call to an LLM. So I will just give an input. Here goes AI, I get an output. The more specific you can be with this, the more specific you can be with these instructions, the better results you will get. The more control you will have. So if you have one orchestrator there that writes an outline, and then you take this outline that might have different sections that you have decided based on your taste, you can have multiple ones writing. I don't know. Let's just think about chapters for now. Right? So I can have multiple calls with specific, as much as I want, specific instructions to write the different parts. And then I can put all of these together to another AI. These are just simple input-output with an AI in between. So you take the results of this, you put them together with, again, specific instructions about that, and you get to, I don't know, a draft of your content. And maybe if you're not happy with it, you see the results are not good, you can have another call to AI to improve based on X reasons. And this would be for one social media or one platform, right? And you could have something here before that choose for different platforms if you want to produce different things. So this is not multi-agent. If someone tells you this, I mean, everyone calls this differently, but this is just an automation with steps, AI in between, and you get specific about each step, so you have more control. It makes sense? A multi-agent setup in this setting is something different. It's like using Cloud Code and spin up different agents that have full autonomy and that do what they decide to do to get to a goal. So, I mean, yeah, we can think about an example, but do you picture what Cloud Code in this sense does? It's much different than this. The difference is clear, or? Okay. So here, you don't give these steps. You just give access to your environment and ability to do things.
You know? I get it. Are you saying when it's multi-agent, all those agents are fully autonomous?
Yeah.
Whereas this one is like you're really telling it what to do. Step
Yeah.
by step.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, that's the difference. Yeah. Okay.
Nicola, I have a quick question about your vision as the user compared between maybe just 3 and 4. Because like when you use Claude Cowork, do you have a vision about what the input should be, or do you delegate that and say, Claude, you're the boss. You tell me what this presentation today should look like, and then I'll decide. Like, how do you?
I mean,
how do you interact, or do you have a vision of like I can imagine the presentation more or less?
Yeah.
I don't want it too dense. I don't want it too colorful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it, and I'll see my line.
Yeah. I got it. Most of the times, I try to first come up with an idea, but that's just because I want to. I'll try to move as quickly as possible, and if I just let AI do, it will create something fast, but it's likely that I don't like it. So that then I need to iterate more. Right. So, for example, if we take the simple example of a presentation, I add another presentation similar to this, so like a starting point. And from there, I just created a few slides with just text, just text, plain text. And then I said to Claude, use this layout that was in another presentation, take this presentation, there is the rough content, just make it consistent with the style guide, we can say. But at another point of time, you can want to experiment and see what it comes up with. So it depends on use case. But if I want to move quickly, I'll just do my thinking first without much AI involved. Or you can use AI to think about, to ping pong ideas, but don't let it yet create the presentation because it will slow you down.
Yeah. And so I guess with 5, you either have to have very clear vision, otherwise the agents go crazy and you're like, I don't know what's going on here. Or you're willing for them to basically replace you.
Here is
have no vision
here is more about technical things. Because you really need something to go faster in a way, or to have more capabilities. So it's not much about that. It's more about technical aspects of it. So I just work here. I build this for myself or for clients. Prompt chaining with tools because it's more reliable, and for most businesses it's already extremely good, And then I use this to work myself.
Got it. Makes sense. Yeah, because I guess with 5, what I hear often, and it's hype, I'm sure it's hype, but a founder, like a solopreneur, will say, I don't want to...
I have my CEO, AI CEO that will do everything.
I'm just going to hire these multi-agents and they're going to run my entire company. And I just give the idea for the product or the
rough idea for the ICP, and that's it.
I mean, that's...
Is that the future?
We don't know. We don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah. Maybe you can ask about that to Matt. He will talk about open clone or interesting things. Okay, thanks, Eve. Someone else want to? Yeah.
So in terms of like the complexity of the instruction,
Yeah.
do you say that level changes with like each of these levels of here? Like, for example, maybe like for 1 and 2, the instruction needs to be like very detailed and like very clear, and like 4 or 5 maybe because they're more autonomy, you just need to tell them the outcome, but not so much about how they need to do it.
Yeah, you can do that in the sense that here it needs less instructions. Yeah, it needs less, but if you are more specific, you will get better results. But yeah, it is more autonomous, so it will make decisions. So if you don't want or you don't know, if you don't want to be that specific, you can do that. But you lose a bit of control. It's a balance of how predictable I want the results, and compared to I want something predictable. Also, the difference here, maybe from what we are told, is that here I know the steps. So I know that to get from A to Z, I will do these steps. But if I use Cloud Code, also something inside here, depending on how you set it up, you don't necessarily need the step. You don't necessarily need know beforehand these steps.
Okay. But for the first two, usually they need, let's say, instruction on how to do it. Or like.
They need less or more?
I think they need more.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. If you want to have a good output, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But for the ones which are like more complex one, in terms of like telling them what I want, as long as I can explain my end result to them, I do not need to tell them how they get to the...
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. As I was trying to say, you don't need to, because they will do something, but as much as you can clarify, your idea or your goals and be more specific, you will likely get better results. But if the point is that they need less instruction because they can do more things, more autonomy, yes, they need less instructions. Yeah. And just to make sure, that the difference here is also that, once again, that here I know the steps I want to go through, the tools maybe that I need to use at each step, or the data I need, etc. And here, if I connect to multiple tools and I give instructions, I don't necessarily know which tools it will use in which order. So I also don't control that part. For that is more autonomous in a way. Yeah. Okay, great. So I see it's already 11:30. Just any final thoughts or ideas? Yeah.
I'm curious for each one which tools you use.
What do you mean tools? Like in tools that the AI has access to, or you mean something else?
Like, for example, the orchestration, the workflow, like there's NAN, Xavier.
Okay, so you mean the platform where I do this thing. So I don't come from software engineering. I come from mechanical engineering. So at the beginning, I started by using no-code tools like NA10. Before that, make.com. but lately I've been using more NA10 because it's easy to set it up and fast in a way, and it's still flexible, right? So if I need to pick an no-code platform, I will likely use NA10. Depending on the project, but more and more, and last year and this year, I'm just working with Python because I want to get as close as possible to the things that we have talked about, so to have more control. And it's not that hard. I mean, I'm also, investing more time into it, etc. So I will just, write, a program in Python, and there you can see everything. You have more control. So that's
Program to do what?
What?
A program to do what?
To do anything that we have talked about it here. I mean, any workflow or create an agent, more or less autonomous. I mean, below all those platforms, there is some backend, right? Which is likely Python. All of this is API calls to the models. There is nothing more fancy than that below, so you can just write that. But yeah, it's a process of learning and upskill in that sense. Yeah. Great. Yeah.
In which extent you program yourself the Python? In which extent you use AI to help you with your full coding, or?
Yeah, it depends. So usually I have like a framework, which is not like a third-party framework, like you might heard of LangChain or other things, but it's just a template of a project. So I have reusable nodes, we can call, if I call this a node, I have reusable code that I can use. And there, since it's structure, if I want to go fast, it's easy to tell AI, use this template or use this node to create this. And I give it specific input on what the input, specific information on what the input and output look like. So if I work inside that project, I can use AI and I still in control. And then if it's something one-off, something that I need today for one specific thing and tomorrow I don't care, I can just let AI do it and use Cloud Code or Codex and just let it go, because I don't care about being reliable in 1 month or use edge cases and stuff. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. I think we are after time.